Welcome, everybody. We are here on our last Next Great Read with episode 6. And we flings, but even though if our book doesn't have a fling in it, I really actually go for any fling you have with the book. Like I don't know about y'all, but I get obsessed with books. I feel like I date them until I'm done with them. So honestly, that could go for any book that so much that our heart stops and we can't move on. Like I mourn the loss of my book. A relationship. So I'm going to have a fling with my books and y'all can have books about fling. Book I'm going to talk about how to fling in it, but still.
Book boyfriends.
Book boyfriends all the way.
I'm so confused now. There's too many flings.
Hey. Lauren, why don't you welcome I'm Misty Shea.
I'm Lauren Stutler.
I'm Carrie Harris.
And we have with us today, joining with us, go ahead, Miss Brenna.
Hi, I'm Brenna.
Tell us a little bit about you, because they already know, they kind of know. We're librarians in Keller ISD. Tell us a little bit about you.
I'm 18 and I run some bookish accounts on Instagram and TikTok. I grew up and went to Keller. Yeah.
That's awesome.
What high school?
Like what all they're doing on there. On the TikToks. I have to do that now.
Yeah. People talk about like books that they like and recommend, but then there's also like the people that make humorous content and make memes out of books, especially like real books that are just kind of like really like well known, like Percy Jackson or like the Mortal Instruments. People always like to make fun of that series in particular, just because of the storyline, and there's some quotes that people like to make fun of, like especially like I Am Become a Blade from the last Shadow and Bone book. It's like very notorious on TikTok, so that's kind of what people do.
I'm afraid to get into all of that though, because I feel like that's where all of my time's going to go. Do you remember when you first joined Pinterest and you're like, oh, and you spend hours? I'm afraid it's going to be like that.
It's fun. TikTok is actually what got me back into reading after like a long time, so it's like just a really fun space.
Okay, well, see, worth it right there, I guess. Gosh.
I did some kind of library thing this summer. I did so many, I can't remember which one it was, but one of the librarians found a bunch of people to follow on TikTok just to do our librarian things that we do with teachers and stuff. And so I've kind of started, I'm the oldest of the bunch, Brenna, and I actually did develop a TikTok account, and I'm having fun watching some of those. So I need to find some good ones to follow. Who are some of your favorite ones to follow on TikTok?
It's hard to choose, but I have some really close friends, like Moon Girls Reads or Kate's Books. They're both really big creators, but I'm actually really good friends with them. And also like Anya Reads, who is also chronically ill, and so we have a good time.
Tell us about, do you want to share with us why you follow her?
I follow her because we can connect a lot, and we do have some of the same conditions, which is really cool. Because I'm chronically ill, sometimes what I look for in a book might be different, so I really try to look for books with disability representation, and we both really make sure to include that in our like book recs, because there's a lot of big push for diversity, but a lot of people forget disability and disability community that we kind of exist. So it's nice to have other fellow creators that understand and also look for the same things.
And give voice to it. If you do your TikToks and Instagram posts on those books with disability characters, then you're giving a voice to that community. And I think that's beautiful.
Yeah.
And a lot of it, I think a lot of us forget about some of our more invisible chronic illnesses and disabilities, because, we think of that in one way, but there's so much going on internally sometimes that, that's a whole story in itself. So I'm glad that you're including a lot of that. That's great.
We talk about, again, in the librarian world, seeing yourself in books and how important that is for people. And before we started, if anybody's watching this later, before we started, we were talking about how we like to escape into books sometimes. We don't want to deal with our our current situation. And that's kind of how I was when I grew up. I just wanted to get out of my home and the whole environment I was in. And so I wasn't looking for myself in a book. I was looking for anybody different whose experiences I could also experience. So it's interesting to hear your viewpoint about wanting to see yourself and people like you in the books and hear recommendations by people who are like you. So that's an interesting perspective. And I appreciate that you shared that with us. What are some of the books we've been reading? We talked about summer flings. Who do we want to start with tonight? I'm going to start with Miss Brenna. Do you have any good recommendations for books out there for us?
My number one all-time favorite book is Sick Kids in Love. It is a love story between two chronically ill teens in New York, and it's just like pure happiness. It's so cute, so funny. There's so much witty banter, but then also it brings in this chronic illness representation. Both the main characters have one, and it's just like a really special book, and I like recommend it to everyone because it's just so cute.
I think I have that one in my library. I haven't read it yet, but I need to.
I can't get it to read it because it stays checked out.
I
Always.
feel like when you're chronically ill like that, I feel like you love more passionately. So story is epic and a romantic, and it's in New York City. What else could you want? I love that.
It's like the ultimate like cute YA contemporary romance.
I feel like when I say like a super cute YA romance, I think of Tweet Cute, not because it has the word cute in it, but that's what I'm thinking of. Is it kind of like on that same, oh, it's just so cute, that kind of thing. It's good. Sometimes you need some of those feel good books.
Mm-hmm. Well, mine's dark and dreary though. So my this week is about it's called Wicked Deep, and it's about this years ago. These beautiful three women came over to America, and all the men fell in love with them. So what were they?
Sirens.
And had to be what?
Witches.
And so what? We drowned them. And so this village drowned these three sisters. And ever since then, every single summer, they come back and they take of girls in the town and they drown three boys. So every 200 years. And so enter present day, and your main character, who is a girl who's just kind of, she lives on the island alone with her mom, very solitary, just knows this is going to happen every summer. And you kind of go her summer and her summer fling, and just really cool. At the end, like I actually liked it. I was like, what? Oh my gosh. So little dark and dreary because that's how I like my books. But it was really cool. Really cool twist, really snarky. The three sisters, when they inhabit of the town, like the girls are snarky and they have reason to be. Like they might have been a little promiscuous, but they weren't witches. So, and we'll see if the curse gets broken.
You love those with supernatural creatures and fantasy.
I'm with you, Carrie.
Loot box.
I don't want to happen. I want to read something that is as far off as possible. However, I do love I honestly, I'm probably going to read your book, Brenna, because that sounds super adorably cute. And like I said, I just bet they just fiercely loved each other. And that's something that can melt my heart. I'm all in.
Okay. So I went on the lighter romancy side, which is funny since I'm really not a romance reader at all, but I will tell you, okay, so this book is actually being considered on our library and book committee for this coming year. I was the only one who read it last year, so we needed more readers. So it's kind of carrying over to this year, and I'm really excited to have other people read it because I will admit, I knew I wanted to talk about it this week, and so I listened to it again. So in all the world of things that I have that I need to read and listen to, I went back and reread because it was just so good. This one it's not like dark and fantasy-ish at all. It's very realistic, but it's got a little bit of an edge to it because the guy and the girl are very into music, and they'll tell you like, oh, this person, I can't stand Stevie Nicks, but I really love, I don't know who, Counting Crows, or, whatever. And so they're constantly texting back and forth. it's songs off of YouTube, and so they'll send each other a song, and there's some sort of meaning in it because of the lyrics, and so they're like, this song, I'm sending it to you, and he's like, oh, and could it mean this or that? And it is so adorkable. I'm going to say adorkable. It is. They're so funny because they're at one point they're like, and we held hands, and I'm like, oh, that's so sweet. But there's a ton of great music references to it. The language, I will say, is a bit atrocious because they're hanging around. The girl's parents own a bar, and so she's in there like working at the bar, but it is so darn cute. And I will say you have to listen to it because the guy is British and he has this beautiful, delicious accent the whole time. And I love it.
You had me at accents.
It's a really, really good one. And at one point when he's reading from his dad's voice, his dad was a punk rocker from Britain. And so he's talking with like this really strong, gritty British accent. And I'm like, yes, I love it. It's a little distracting sometimes.
But see, that's the benefit of an audiobook. Like, I could have done British accents in my head, but boy, sometimes those audiobooks kill it.
It's a really
in a good way, like slay. Like, Brenna, what's a cool way to say that? I'm just kidding.
I don't know, but definitely not slay.
Thank you, Brenna.
No, I love it.
Thank you.
I love it. That's awesome.
Wasn't the old lady who said it. I'm just saying.
Okay, my mom still says that too.
Well, if I made sad choices in high school, I could be your mother.
I'm going to text your mom and be like, I hear you say slay.
That's slay me. No, I'm just kidding.
You mentioned accents, and I am not a romance person. So I've really tried this summer. I've been reading more romances, but they can't be, I like the cheesy romance, but it's just like the sappy kind. I just can't. But this one just went away. I wanted to show it. Come back. This is by Deb Coletti, and it's called One Great Lie. It's kind of bright there. One Great Lie. And it takes place in Italy. And so on this audiobook, the narrator, the actress who does it, she does an amazing Italian accent. So if I had been reading this one just with the words on the page, I would not have done the gorgeous Italian accent that she did for the male interest in this, who she meets when she goes over there. Her name is Charlotte, and he calls the Italian boyfriend calls her Charlotta. She just it's just she does this amazing Italian accent. But that one, there's a fling in that one, but she is an American girl who is a writer. And so she goes off to this, she writes off and gets a scholarship, internship kind of scholarship to this camp that this famous writer is doing in Italy. And all the girls love him and the guys love the way he writes, if they're writers. And so they all go to his beautiful Italian villa in Venice. And so you get the descriptions of Venice and the water and the, all the beautifulness. And you get this one old guy writer that we as readers are like, this guy is creepy and weird. And why are people liking him? But of course, the main character doesn't notice it because she loves his writing. But and then it has a side story of this poet that's in her family from the 1700s who has this beautiful poem that's out there that they have the original copy of. And she wants to do more research and find out if this male poet took credit for something she wrote. So there's a whole bunch of down with the patriarchy kind of stuff in this too, but it's really cool because it brings in the poets from the 17th and 18th centuries at the beginning of each chapter, and it tells you about these women who wrote these poems, but all these men took credit for it, and it's real. It's all this real stuff, and about how these kids, these girls, when they were like 11 years old, would be sent off to these convents to keep them pure until they could be married off. So their only options in life were go to a convent and become a nun, or go to a convent and get married off when you're like 14 to some old geezer. And so, yeah, it's just amazing. But there is this wonderful little summer fling in there, and plus kind of a mystery. And so I liked it. Plus the Italian accents were fun. Had you heard of that one, Bren? I thought I saw you nod your head when you saw the title.
Not actually.
Okay. Yeah, that one was pretty good. I didn't like the way they portrayed the girl as not being able to see him for what he was. I like strong female characters, but not at the expense of all the men. I mean, not all men are bad, and so I hate when they do all of that. Man bad, girl good stuff. I can't handle it. But it wasn't that terrible. But it was an amazing audiobook. So that's my summer fling thing there.
Did I even say the
Shakespeare
name
had
of
a
it?
woman co-writer.
Oh, really?
I don't know. I'm asking.
I don't
Conspiracy.
know.
Do you think it's written by aliens?
I can't remember if I said the name of my book, by the way. It's called More Than Maybe. Did I say that? More Than Maybe.
You did not say it earlier. I was thinking about that. I was like,
Sorry.
me?
More Than Maybe. It is so good. And I'm trying to think of the author's name. Aaron. Go look it up.
I just love that they reference music. Like as a teen,
fun.
like I loved music and I loved all kinds of music. And so out over just the bands and, lyrics and everything.
It's one that's more, it's a very relatable one. It's nothing like super over the top, except for the fact that his dad's a famous rocker and something happens that propels him into being famous by accident. And Erin Hahn is the author. I didn't know anything by her, but it was really good.
It reminds me of Solo. Alexander or Jason Reynolds. Which one? No, Call Me Alexander. Yeah, I love that because he references because it's a novel in verse, but he references whole thing. And there are 2 love stories in that one. The one, the girl that broke up with them, and then the girl he found.
That's a good one. And at the end, if you listen to the audio of that one, you actually get to hear the music at the end. It's really cool.
Okay, I definitely need to listen.
Brenna, tell us about some of your bookish posts. I was on there earlier tonight. I wanted to see the kind of stuff that you did, and I saw this one that was so cool. I don't even remember the name of the book because the picture was so beautiful. I mean, maybe that defeats the purpose, but you're holding it here and there's flowers on it, and then there's flowers all around you. What was that book?
I don't know. I have a whole bunch of floral posts on my page.
I just thought that one was so pretty.
Was it this one?
Yes, I love that one.
It's a memoir. That I actually haven't finished that book. I'm like halfway through it, but on my Instagram, I post book recommendations or the books I'm reading, or I also make posts about like chronic illness awareness. So and sometimes those are combined. I might post a book that has like chronic illness stuff in it. Recently, I actually made a whole post on disability representation in books and the publishing industry. So that was really fun. It took me like a week to do, but it was really great. And that's like the most liked and shared post on my Insta. So it was like so amazing to see all these people share and like get into it and care.
And I didn't know, Brenna is way big time than we are. She was recently just picked up as an influencer. You want to tell them a little bit about that? That's so cool.
Yeah, so I am a big romance reader, both YA and adult. Obviously, I'm an adult, so I can read adult romance. There's a really popular publisher, Avon Romance, and they publish, some of the most famous books, like Bridgerton. That's a series everyone's probably heard of that they published. And so I've been picked up as an influencer for them. So basically they're going to send me books and send me things, and I get to talk about them and help promote their stuff. And so I'm really excited to do that.
I just want people to send me books. I'll talk about them.
Yeah.
Right.
It's always been my dream to just get sent free stuff. I want to be popular enough where publishers will do that, but then not popular enough where I'm like huge.
You're so brave reading adult romance. I don't think I could bring myself to do that.
I love it. There's so many cute ones, and there's some that have really great like chronic illness representation that I found, and it's just been amazing.
That's good. Man.
I have read, I'm going to say her name wrong, Jennifer Archmont.
Jennifer
Arch-
Altrout.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of hers. I did splurge for the Fairy Loot edition of her Blood and Ash. I do love that story. What else have I read by her? I don't know.
She's an adult author?
She writes YA and adult.
NA.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
the Obsidian series.
Yes.
She wrote that, and also some other like popular YA books.
And Glory or Storm and Fury.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to read Obsidian. Sounds good. I don't know why I'm writing that one down.
I really like that one. That one is like this alien romance. And it's a really fun series. I've read the first two so far. I have some of the other ones on my shelf over here that I need to read. And the main character is this huge bookworm. And so it's really fun because she's like so relatable, and she actually runs a book blog. And it's just the cutest thing. But it's a great like YA romance, but also brings in like fantasy and sci-fi stuff, and like more than just a romance plot. It has like all this other stuff going on.
See, that's what I really like. Since I'm not super into romance, I'm a sci-fi fantasy reader, and so that makes me really excited about that. I'm like, okay, yeah, that sounds like me.
Which one of y'all read These Violent Delights? Was that you, Lauren?
Oh yeah.
You did it last week, right? Or 2 weeks ago?
Yes, I talked about it 2 weeks ago, but did you?
Okay.
Brenna,
Look at her. Isn't that cool?
That is so beautiful.
When I sometimes do like cool Photoshop stuff, occasionally when I feel inspired. And that one was so good. I am like, it's a Romeo and Juliet retelling, right? And so the book ended, and I was just like, I need to read the next one, but it doesn't come out until November.
Oh, I know. Looking at the pre-order today, and I was like, just wait. You can wait. Normally, Brenna, I'm so to wait for the whole series to come out. And I didn't realize like Blood and Ash, the whole series wasn't out yet. And I was like, gosh, I can't handle this. So I actually stopped like midway. I did the same thing with reading Red Queen back in the day. And then I realized it wasn't done. I was like, I'm done. I'm done until the whole. So I'm one of those people. Same thing with like Netflix shows. If the whole series is not out, I'm not. I need a conclusion. I need closure. So
I guess that's the advantage I have right now. I'm reading A Court of Thorns and Roses. Finally, I'm way behind, which I hate to tell you, Misty, it is Rysand.
What?
Because you said you really hoped it was pronounced Rysand.
Oh no, it's not Rysand. It's Rysand.
It is, yeah.
Head, it's Rysand, and that's how my book boyfriend Rysand is gonna stay.
Because I did the audio, and now I'm thinking the rest of the series I might not do audio.
It's like,
no, you can't.
I'm like, is this turned down enough? Can anybody hear?
But the
person next to you in the car,
right? I'm like,
I thought the main character of that series name in the first book was Freya. Like I just like read it wrong. It's Feyre, right? But obviously,
yeah,
I did not read it right.
I say fair. I like
fair.
You're fair. Like, and honestly, that's part of being a reader, though. You say whatever it is you want to say, and I'm not gonna lie. Pick some strange names, and it's a name in my head, and I just make it up, and I almost glaze over whatever name I decide. Usually, it does start with that letter, though. But I mean,
see, and that's really hard for me. I get hung up on that, and so I think for something like with the really weird names and stuff, I like to at least listen to the first one, because then I can get that into my head. And I'm like, okay, cool, and I can keep going, and I won't get hung up on it. But otherwise, I was like, what is this?
Yeah, that series is particularly bad for names. There's so many weird ones. Like the main villain in book one is Amarantha.
Yes.
That one took me a long time to like wrap my head around. Like it's just so many weird names. I think that's just like a Sarah J. Maas thing, because in all her books, the characters have weird names.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. I said Hermione for the longest time until the movies came out.
Well, Hagrid says it. No, I'm just kidding.
What'd you say?
Hagrid, he says it accent, so it kind of sounds like that.
That's true.
I did have that accent. I was laughing. I told you guys this a couple of weeks ago, but my cousin was reading Harry Potter out loud way back when, and she called Lucius Malfoy Luscious Malfoy. So whenever I see him, that's all I think of, Luscious Malfoy.
Hey, Brenna, do you want to flip through some of your recent Insta posts and just kind of let us know about?
Yeah, sure. Let me share my screen. Okay. I think I have to turn something on.
Everyone can share.
I have to allow, I think.
Let me see if I can make co-host. Make co-host. Yes, I do.
There you go.
Okay, here we go. I'm
I
clicking.
love looking at stuff that someone else is so much better at doing. I'm like, oh, I want to see.
Sorry, I'm on Goodreads. Let me just.
Spend half my life there.
I'm like, when am I not?
Understand. Although I need to take my Twitter off because right now, every time I want to read a book, whatever, it posts on my Twitter. People are so annoyed that are my Twitter followers.
I only have my link to my blog.
So here is my Instagram. These are some of the books I read on vacation. Some of them are dull, but some highlights were A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. That book is absolutely fabulous. I loved it. And I just recently read the entire An Ember in the Ashes series.
Yes,
And
I still read the last one. No spoilers.
Oh God. I am like absolutely obsessed. And I feel like everybody needs to read that series. It is like a god.
Do you
tier.
follow her on Twitter? I love that author. Like she is
Yes.
so cool on Twitter. Yes.
She's hilarious.
And I think on Insta too.
Yes.
I think I follow her.
Definitely. These are some like chronic illness posts, and the July is Disability Pride Month, so I made some posts about that. Okay, you know how the Shadow and Bone adaptation came out?
Yes.
So Ben Barnes is the person that plays the Darkling, and I ended up getting
Every time they post him, gosh.
What do you think about that series?
I love all of the Leigh Bardugo books.
Yep.
Absolutely love. And also in the other books, she includes like amazing disability representation. And it's like she also in real life uses a cane, and Kaz Brecker uses a cane. And it's just like such a cool thing to see that in a fantasy series.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely love Leigh Bardugo. She is so cool.
Oh, Grishaverse is probably fun. I just love it.
I love them too, and I'm like so obsessed with it, and I wish there was more of it.
What do you think about the Netflix series?
I loved it. I think it's one of the best adaptations I have watched, like a book adaptation. Like it was somehow they made some of the story more interesting, and also they included like it's Shadow and Bone, so it's based off the first Shadow and Bone book, but they also included characters from Six of Crows. So it just was like such a cool adaptation, and it was so well done. Like the visuals were they were so amazing. The cast was amazing. The costumes were like so well beyond anything I expected them to be. Like I watched it twice already.
What is that thing called again? I forgot, the big black like nothingness. What is it called again?
Oh, the Shadowfold.
Yes, I love the way that they showed that. It was like so intense. I love that.
Yes, and all like the Keftas were so beautiful. Like I was not expecting them to be so good. And I think they just did a really good job with casting some of the people.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really great.
I was very
confession, I did the no thing, and I have not read any of them, and I watched the series.
Oh no!
But maybe you'll want to read the books now.
Yeah.
Oh, for now the books are going to confuse you. You're going to read Shadow and Bone go and think, where's this character? Well, he's in
Six of Crows, that duology. It's my home.
I have dived in way too many things. You're giving me way too much credit. I will not remember who this person was or that did that beyond a main character. I'm like, oh, this is totally new. I have no idea what I'm reading. Not me. Look how pretty. Ooh, yeah. What's with the blood? Which one is that?
Okay, so that is a cover reveal. So you know, like the Crave series.
Yes, I just started it.
Those ones are so fun. I read both the 2 ones, but I helped do the cover reveal for the 4th book, Charm. So I like when I photoshopped this and everything. That's the cover. And I really like that series. A lot of people don't, but I thought it was the most fun thing.
I book talked it a couple weeks ago. I was like, if you love Twilight and you love
It was
Supernatural,
Twilight,
Supernatural.
but like better to me.
Yeah, it was a mixture between Supernatural, like it just all these fandoms that I just grew up. I was like, and there you have Crave, the Crave series. So I enjoyed it, and people say I liked it. It's like we were saying earlier, Brenna, you like what you like, whether or not. I enjoyed the series.
I've read the first 2, and I have book 3. I need to read it. But I just like they were so fun to read for me. Like I didn't have to like think too much. Because it's set in our world, but adds supernatural elements. So books like that are easier to get into than a high fantasy book, which is not set in our world. And it also just like had that really cheesy element that just made it super fun. Like it like kind of like those like fan fiction vibes.
Yeah.
And it was so just funny. And the way the main character was just so oblivious was just like very humorous to me.
Oh yeah. How did you not know? I knew the minute she was describing the first boy interest, he's a vampire. Like
Yeah.
I could have told you that. Like the minute you stared at him and you gazed and he had that angst, I was like, he's not real. I mean, he's real, but he's
so obvious.
supernatural.
Like she's at this random school in Alaska and people are going outside shirtless in winter and she didn't see anything wrong with that.
Or she's like,
they sparkle.
I don't think they sparkle in this one.
Yeah, they don't sparkle, but they definitely have that beauty that you can't even question. How is he so beautiful? You're just like, because he's not real. But yeah, I loved it a lot, Brenna. I agree.
Yeah.
Oh, I see Wave. Oh my gosh, I love these.
What am I
Oh my God, how is it already 8:32?
Oh my gosh.
There you go.
Tell us
Just
2 more
trying to
books. 2 of your like absolute. Oh my gosh, I see beautiful. Okay, I've got to stop talking.
That book is so good.
It's so good. I need book 3 like now.
I need book 3 too. The way that series has set up, it's gonna be like the most epic fantasy series. Like I just know it. Like
And-
the first book is like this kind of murder mystery in New Orleans.
New Orleans.
Girl from France just moves there and like there's this murder happening and there's like mysterious people and it's great. But then like the next book sets up this amazing fantasy world. And so I'm just in love.
Oh,
And I
love
love that
one.
I'm not gonna
Who's that
curse,
author?
but she's a bad A. Like the main
Yes.
character girl, she's a strong, had to escape France because she murdered someone who was trying to rape her. Like just
Yes.
amazing character build. And I loved her. And she wanted to be a fashionista. Like she
Stop it.
made her own gowns. She wanted to people. It was just so cool. I loved the
Who is the author of that? I think I read that one.
Renee Adia. She
Yes.
also wrote The Wrath and the Dawn.
Yes, I love her. I did read that one. I like the whole New Orleans vampire scene. I thought that was fun. I forgot about that one.
Just added it to my Goodreads list.
It
It
is
is.
so good.
I don't know, Lauren. Don't do it.
Other one.
Oh, you're gonna regret it because you're gonna want that 3rd book like now.
I'm okay with waiting. Like I told you, I took a lot of pride and joy in being that person waiting for the midnight release of Harry Potter at Barnes and Noble, and it kind of has that same anxiety build up. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do it again.
Okay, one more, Brenna. All-time favorite Instagram post. What would you go for?
Okay. Let me.
Oh, I
I
saw
love the sparkles.
Okay.
No.
So I would have to say this one. I put a lot of work, and the theme of the post was with women on the cover. So
I
these
love
are
all
like-
of those books.
Yes. I haven't read all of them yet. Actually, I still haven't read Fable or Legendborn. I actually haven't read 4 of these. Actually, because I haven't wanted to read Legendborn because the sequel had no information, and I didn't want to be left like waiting for the next book.
Don't
for,
do
like,
it. I mean,
oh.
wait, it's good, but wait.
Yeah, but I just wanted to do like this cool magical post with books that have women on the cover, so it was really fun.
I like that. That's very cool.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
I think I just got Cinderella is Dead for the library. I think I saw it in there.
It's so good.
Did I see what is it? I never remember the name of the book, but I just saw it, I swear, up there. I don't know where it was.
Here.
Curse. So I love
Yeah.
Bridget Kimmerer.
I think
I
it
love
was
that.
up farther.
One of my favorite series.
I
And
love the Curse Breaker series. Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
Oh,
Brenna, you have my reading style.
Kingdom of the Wicked.
Yes.
oh yes, Kingdom of the Wicked. It
Harry
is
Maniscalco.
around
Mhm.
here somewhere. I read that book. Yeah, it's right here. Yes. I really enjoyed that book, and I'm really excited for the second one. It's not
Mhm.
like my favorite book ever, but the way the world is going is super interesting,
Mhm.
and I'm really excited to read the next one.
Then you realize that that's the same author, the one
Yeah,
that wrote
Jack
the
Ripper.
yeah, Jack
Yes,
Ripper series.
yes.
Yeah, that's fun. I just thought it was funny because we were talking about that earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Brenna,
Yeah.
we are so thankful. Your handle. What's your Instagram handle?
Chronically Brenna.
All right. You definitely someone worth following, and you have my reading style. So I will, if you say it's good, I will believe you.
All right. Oh, this is our last one.
It
Our
is.
last one, we're thinking about doing a holiday, maybe one. We might pre-record it for Thanksgiving break, for winter break as well. So we're not done, but done. No, I'm just kidding. That was really lame. This is our final one for this summer. And I'm so glad that we ended it on a high note with Brenna, because oh my gosh, I love all.
This was super fun. We definitely have to have you back on again and have some students on too. Like that's really fun to hear some of what they're doing and seeing. I'm like, oh, I love it.
You're gonna be at Keller High School next year, right?
I am.
So you maybe will see me around.
Yay.
Because if people want to know about me, I am like a senior times 2.
That's okay. And from what I hear, you might be looking into possibly going into library as well later on.
Yes,
Possibly.
I'm really interested in library studies. Unfortunately, I don't know if I want to do that much school yet because a master's degree is a lot of school. But yes, I'm definitely interested in working in books and doing stuff in
Maybe
them.
work in
I'm
publishing companies.
Brenna, that master's degree did not feel like a master's degree because I had so much fun getting it. So just find something you want to get your bachelor's in first, and then the master's degree. It was so easy. I loved it. It was so interesting.
Well, definitely come and visit me so we can talk more books throughout the
Yes,
year.
I have only half a day of school I have to do each day. So
Nice.
Lots of talking time then.
yes.
All right. Thank you for joining us tonight, and we can't wait to see you. So until next time.
Bye.
Okay. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Love
No,
having
we
you.
are so thankful for you.